Hello dear students. As you know that we are discussing our fifth unit of environmental engineering. In the chain of that pesticide and herbicide, insecticide, very important topic of that environmental engineering is the bioherbicide. It is also important for our farmers and for the purpose of environment. So as you know that we have at that time we are using different kind of pesticide, different kind of insecticide, and we also using different kind of herbicide for the control of some unwanted weeds that are grown in our field at the time of that harvesting our desired crops. So as you know that if suppose that you have different kind small land and you are generating some small amount of biomass of agricultural biomass. In this biomass having the different concentration of manure, as you know that manure is very useful for the crop production, crop development, and biomass formation. So suppose that this kind of weeds is present in our field, then what happens, these small weeds also compete with our desire with our crops. So what happened, the level of nutrients and level of other that useful material is going to the going down. So what that is, that having the adverse effect on our main crop. So having the that less production of biomass due to this presence of these kind of weeds. So that weeds we have to remove, and for the removing of that kind of weeds, farmers utilize different kind of herbicides that can have the capability to degrade that kind of herbs. Okay, so now let's discuss about the bioherbicides. Here you know that herbicide and bio, two different words, herbicide and bioherbicide. You know that herbicide also found in the name of chemical herbicides. Chemical herbicide we also used for the the treatment of weeds. But here we are talking about the bioherbicide, because of that here we will use some biological applications for the removing, for the treatment of the weeds. So that's why it is called bioherbicide. So let's look about that definition. So see here, weeds are the constant problem for farmers. They not only compare with crops, as you know that compete with the crops for water, for nutrients, sunlight, and space. Okay, so see here the level of competence, competitive, that competence. But also have the some other thing. They have our main crop, like I said, they are also spreading some disease. Okay, and also having the the water level problem also, that can be maybe cause of drought in our surrounding area of the field. And bioherbicide may be compounds and secondary metabolite right from the microbes such as bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and so that's why it is called bioherbicide, because the biological community is able to produce this kind of toxins which is unuseful for the weeds, that can have the adverse effect on weeds, that can treat the weeds, that can destroy the weeds. So this is the the very important picture. See the that mechanism of inhibition. Suppose that this is one the flower plant is your main plant, and the second one is your weeds. So you have seen here small red dots. These dots are synthesized by the root region of your plant, and that red spots will it will able to stimulate your that microorganism which is present in the surrounding of your plant, like as a maybe it can be a mycorrhiza, and so that after the that signal of the particular plant, the microorganism is able to produce some toxins. Okay, because of that, that microorganism plant having a symbiosis relationship. But we have also discussed in our previous classes, that plant will provide the different carbohydrates for the microorganism, and a microorganism is able to fix the nitrogen and phosphorus for the plant growth and development. So this is called symbiotic relationship between the plant and that microorganism. So this mechanism also useful for the inhibition, for the treatment of weeds, which is available in the surrounding of our main plant. Now these are some common that bioherbicide which is utilized at that time. For the velvet leaf, that microorganism useful. For the wild oat, for the water hyacinth, for sickle pod, and for the berry barnyard grass. So these are the common that weeds, and for this treatment we are using we are at the time we are also using these microorganisms or pathogens. Now bioherbicide also is the common, like as a mycoherbicide Dactylaria higginsi is a biological control fungus against purple nuts and soil fungus under evolution suppress germination and attachment of wheat, like as the name of the streak gasp and seedling to gram sorghum roots, contributing to grain yield increase. Development of this pathogen as a biotic agent could have a significant impact on food production in regions where the string species are dominant wheat problems. Rhizosphere bacteria are fungi that inhibit broom rape and the germination infection of horticulture crop by the overproducing amino acid has been proposed as a effective bioherbicide, as I indicating that in red color. That is very useful slide. By use of this you can easily understand the mechanism of inhibition. Suppose that the first plant is your desired crop and second one is your wheat. So we have we can that inoculate some microorganism which is useful for the degradation or which is useful for the the production of some important toxins. Then what happen, microbes will form some different the toxins which have the capability to degrade the wheat and to degrade the biomass of the wheat. See in the last of that in figure. Now you can see that synthetic herbicide also available in the market that having the capability to enhance the growth of our wheat. Then after the enhance the that wheat growth of wheat, they can be that degrade. So see here we can use synthetic oxygens for that purpose, that having the capability to produce that to development of the to grow initiate the growth of the your desired weeds. Then after the unwanted growth of that particular weed, they finally goes to the degrade. Because of the requirement of nutrients maybe goes to increase. So finally, if suppose that kind of water, that kind of things is unavailable, then weed after the certain time that weed goes to the dead. Okay. Then these are some important chemical herbicides. As you just that remember that also used for the weed protection, like as a carbamates, organophosphates, pyrethroids, perithrins, and fipronil, and chlorine and DDT. Also hear about that DDT. Some country DDT also banned, but at that time India farmers are using DDT for the control of weeds. So next we have the how can we produce that kind of bioherbicide. So as you know that if you suppose that you are having the exposure of that grow LB growth formation or different kind of media formation, then you can easily form the that inoculum for the your desired field. Same process you can use for this purpose. Suppose that solid stage fermentation you can use for the production of bioherbicides. You can use submerged fermentation also, you can use for this kind of that bioherbicide production. And the next thing is that what is you can this is the that this is your natural process to herbicide synthesis or herbicide production. If suppose that you want to desired that desired mechanism or desired trait develop in a particular plant, so here we can use the genetical engineering, and after the production of that kind of engineering with that product, we will say that genetically modified crop. As you know that we also discussed about the GMO, we also discussed in our previous classes genetic engineering, genetically modified organism, genetically modified crops, also bt cotton also we have discussed, okay, in our previous classes. So there is a no that worry about that process, that particular topic, okay. You can see that after that generation of these kind of things, so plant have the particular that extra traits that can synthesize some toxins to control the weeds that surrounded in that particular plant. Suppose that corn, see, and the last of that slide, cotton, corn and soybean plant having the capability of to treat the weeds. That are the important action of bioherbicide. See here, you can be I suppose that you are using the bioherbicide in your field that can have the capability to degrade the particular weeds by stopping that photosynthesis in the weeds. This is the major that event. Most of bioherbicides are utilize that particular process to inhibit the growth of different weeds. And the next one is that that can be useful to block enzyme production in weeds, that can able to block in protein synthesis, decrease the growth of unwanted crops, help to increase the production of your desired crop. That is the advantage of bioherbicide. No major harmful effect on the human being. Suppose that you are using bioherbicide rather than the chemical herbicides. Easy to use, no precautions, there is no extra precautions you have to take, not required major precautions, as I already told to you. Some but we have some different disadvantages, okay. We have on the advantages of this harmful of the other harmful for the other microorganisms. Suppose that if two communities you are using in the same field, suppose that mycorrhiza is available at the present at the starting, and after that you are using another microorganism, so there is some problem. Suppose that they both will be compete for the same substrate or something, so that can be unusual condition for the that kind of experiment, okay. Resistant to variety of biotic stress, that is the major effect on that. And biotic but also that we have also discussed about that, okay, in our previous classes. Another example of that, suppose that this kind of fungus you isolate in Mexico was approved to release the in Australia is integrated strategy to manage the high allergen wheat, like as the name of this, and perithenium Hysterophorus, even though it could also sporulate on several marigold and sunflower cultivars. So see here, that's that thing I am saying to you. I was saying to you that kind of major or other effect can be occurred on our that our desired crop, okay, because there is no need, because we are trying to shoot out the weed, so there is a chance we can shoot out our main plant also, okay. These are some useful videos, please look this video, and that's also useful to to understand the mechanism of bioherbicides, okay. So thank you student for your and for this kind of the cooperation.